everyone, this is Mr. Sasa and I'm here today to do Toriko chapter 363 review. And boy, what a chapter this week. This chapter was so good, so good. I mean, it's rarely that I get a chapter where I actually feel the sense of danger, like I actually have a sentiment in my stomach. Like when I was reading Toriko this week and I saw the battle between Dawn's Line and Neo, especially at the end, like my stomach tightened a little bit. Like I really had that sentiment of danger and of sadness because Dawn's Line was about to disappear. And Dawn's Line isn't even a character that has been prevalent in the story because Dawn's Line has only appeared in this arc. We don't know him for a long time, but the character development that he got with the flashback from Ichiryu and the way he is built as a character, he is built to be empathetic. He was built so he could give us this sense of danger, and this is very good storytelling. Very good storytelling. And yeah, man, I was so immersed in this chapter that this chapter is going to get an amazing way. It was an amazing chapter. But let me just get into it. Basically, when we talk about the story progression, it wasn't really there because all that we got was the fight between North Line and Neo. The character development is lacking because there is no character development, there's nothing happening in this chapter. But the fight itself, oh my god, the fight was amazing. The fight was amazing. And let me just get down to the fight because that's what everyone wants. So basically we find out that the reason that the attacks of Dawn's Line didn't cause the damage he was talking about was not because he was weaker in Asarudi's body. We all thought, including me, I thought that the attacks he did were weaker because he was in Asarudi's body. Because he said that the meteors could destroy a planet, that his attack could destroy a planet or two. He had many planetary attacks, but those attacks didn't even harm the continent, and now we understand why. I thought it was because he was weak in this body, but it was not the case. The case was that Neo was actually eating the energy of his attacks, and that was mind-boggling. Like Neo, whatever the attack of Dawn's Line was, Neo kept returning and saying, feed me, feed me. And it took some time for Dawn's Line to realize that in actuality Neo is actually eating his attacks. And Neo himself, like he's amazing. He's amazing under the guidance of Acacia, because I'm sure that Acacia is in there guiding him through the fight. Because as a stand-up character, Neo isn't that smart. He only has desire to eat and frighten other creatures, but he's not able to do complex planning, at least not from our knowledge. So we see Ichigo cutting an arm with Neo, and Neo just eats his own arm, and then his body goes another limb. Like he uses the energy from his own gourmet cells that he has just eaten to influence the gourmet cells of his body to create a new arm. Same with other parts of his body that Dawn's Line cuts off. So this guy recycles his own energy. Like that's amazing. It's hideous when you look at the panels, but it's actually amazing. But what that means is that the cells that Neo eats are not lost forever, because according to what Gigi said a few chapters ago, what Neo eats is lost forever. They disappear, the energy disappears entirely. And I don't think that's the case anymore, because if that was the case, then eating his own arm, his own gourmet cells would have disappeared in his infinite appetite. But that's not so. He uses his energy to create a new arm. So what I'm thinking here is that Neo chooses what to use from what he eats. He chooses what stays lost within him and what he can use. And that may be an escape in the future, because I'm quite certain right now that Dawn's Line is going to get eaten and he's going to be lost in Neo. But in the future, when the four Heavenly Kings defeat him, there might be a way for Dawn's Line to actually come out of this, because the things that he eats are not actually lost in tile because of these panels that we see in today's chapter, that he eats his arm and then he uses the energy for the arm to create another arm. So that's why I'm basing it at. Now another thing has popped into my mind. They said they cannot find Ichiru's soul. Don Slime was searching in the other world and he cannot find Ichiru's soul. What if Neo, or Acacia and Neo actually ate Ichiru's body, Ichiru's soul? I don't know, that's kind of far-fetched, but Neo wasn't actually resurrected back then. I'm not sure. Whatever, going for. We see Dawn's line is not only able to call down meteorites, which she calls a lot of meteorites in today's chapter, like 20 meteorites, but he's also able to create black lightning and wind tornadoes. So he's actually able to control all the elements. He's actually a natural disaster, exactly as he says. But he soon realizes that Neo is hitting his attack. And when he calls down the meteorites, like I'm looking at the panel right now, and there are more than 20 meteorites falling, and Neo just opens and closes his mouth. There's a little sign there that says chop chop, and then some of the meteorites start splitting up like he was eating them before they actually fell, and that's crazy. It means that Neo might have an ability similar to the old Shakubanzai, the invisible Shakubanzai that Midora had, because Midora used his hungry tongue to create places in space that they could eat anything, including space itself, in his fight against Ichiryu. And Neo kind of does the same thing with the meteorite. And just at that moment, Dawn's line realizes that he was eating his attacks, and fucking Neo bites his head off. Neo bites the head of Dawn's line clean off, and of course Dawn's line isn't dead, he just grows another head because we all know how his Gourmet cells work. He can rebuild his entire body from just one Gourmet cell, so it's not like he's going to die. But Neo isn't stopping. He eats his head, Dawn's line grows another head. He eats his arms, Dawn's line grows other arms. But how long can he keep this up? Because what Neo eats, he can use. The energy of Dawn's line's Gourmet cells, and Dawn's line even says it, my attacks energy, my cells. This little bastard, this power, he's eating everything. So the more Neo eats out of Dawn's line, the weaker Dawn's line actually becomes. So how long can he keep regenerating himself? And Dawn's line even says that he is completely different now from what he was back then. And we see a picture of the past when Dawn's line first encountered Neo and probably killed Neo back then. And Neo was, back then, it seems like he was at the beginning of his evolution, because he looked young, if that's what you can call it. Then Dawn's line says, the creatures that have eaten me, their bodies have been destroyed from inside out. Like, I'm thinking, what creatures did eat Dawn's line? What creatures could be so powerful that they could actually eat Dawn's line? That's insane. But even so, they have been destroyed from inside out, because each of you can recreate from one single cell, and he could recreate inside of those creatures. But with Neo, it's completely different, because Neo, he's an infinite appetite. What goes inside never comes out. And Dawn's line gets the feeling that he's actually going to disappear in that infinity. And in that moment, when he actually feels death creeping on him, he actually breaks a tear. But he doesn't break a tear because of fear. He breaks a tear because he actually disappointed Ichiryu. Then in the next second, he actually recomposes and he gathers his wits, and he says that I'm a freaking disaster, I'm Dawn Slime, you're never gonna hear me screaming even if I go down. And he does something. He creates an energy ball. It looks a lot like the life sphere from Dragon Ball Z, the one that Goku creates when he gathers the energy of all the creatures. It looks a lot like that, but a lot smaller. And Dawn's line says, you know what this is, Neo? If I'm going to die, then I'm taking you with me. So basically what I think he did there was use the remaining of his life energy, put it in one attack, and with that he wants to finish them both. Of course, that's not going to work. I think that that's going to make the situation a lot worse, because I think Neo will actually eat that energy. Dawnfly would not even have the energy to run away anymore, and Neo would become a hell lot more powerful. And he should become a lot more powerful, Neo, because he has to face Toriko, and Toriko has 3 fucking gourmet demons, with the last one, the black one, being so powerful that he cannot even come out of Toriko, because Toriko will blow the hell up. He cannot handle that guy's energy. So now, I fear for Neo. When I look at Toriko's gourmet demons, I fear for Neo. So Neo has to become a lot more powerful now. So that's it. That's the chapter. I can't wait for the chapter next week. And rate, comment, subscribe. An amazing chapter. As I said, the feelings where I actually felt this chapter. Give me your comments and have a nice day.
Any rational society would either kill me or put me to some use.